So just as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and we will have this on our PAC website available next week. You'll also get an email once that is available for viewing. Okay, so first we will have updates from our PAC Executive Committee. And first up is me. So some of the updates that we do have, we have our speaker sessions coming up in the next few meetings. So we have our March, April, and May. So we have representatives from the SIR team that will be speaking in the March meeting. So we invite you to join us for that one. And also in May, we plan to have a panel of IMSA alumni join us. So we will be reaching out and gathering some panelists for that, but I do ask that if you know of any alumni that might be interested in joining. So we do have parents that are asking, so what happens to the students after they leave IMSA, after they graduate from IMSA, and wanted to hear more from the alumni and what they're doing now. So that's why we thought the May meeting would be a wonderful time to have those students on. So again, if you know of any students, either if you have any that graduated from IMSA or know of any outside of that, please have them contact me, president@imsapac.org, and we'll be glad to reach out to them. And next, and the other updates that we'll have, obviously, we're continuing to put on programs and events throughout the rest of the school year. So the rest of our committee chairs will be talking about those in more length. Another thing that is coming up in the next few months are the elections for the executive board. So the executive board positions that are elected members are president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So more information will be coming out in the next couple of months about that. So if you are interested in running for any of those positions, feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions or want to find out more about what's entailed in each position. And also, as a reminder, wanted to also encourage you, if you're interested in helping out to chair any of the committees for the next school year, to reach out to any of the current committee chairs if you'd like to find out more about what's entailed in those positions. So those are not elected positions. So those will take place later on. But again, feel free to reach out to any of us, or you can email me as well to find out more information about that. So next, I would like to ask Jen Locke to give the treasurer's update. Jen?
Good morning. If you'll go to the next slide. So we're still receiving money for the senior banquet. So I want to strongly encourage those senior parents, families that have not yet registered for the senior banquet to do so. We will need to get a final count to the senior banquet committee pretty soon so they can start organizing their tables. If you'll go to the next slide for me. And just a reminder to the committees to check this slide so you know where you're at for our fiscal year of available funds. And if you'll go to the next slide, please. So as of January, we had $54,082 in our checking and $23,000 in our savings for about $77,084 of our current assets. In January, our expenses were $3,845 and our income was $7,230. So we do have a couple of donations rolling in from Giving Tuesday, I think it was, in November. So we have a few donations coming in still too. If you'll go to the next slide for me, please. So senior families are limited to 1 student and 2 guests, but we have released our wait list tickets. So those of you who have paid registration between December 17th and January 10th, you would have received an email inviting you to purchase your wait list tickets. You'll have until February 20th to do that. After the 20th, those tickets will go to the next person on the wait list. So please check your emails. And if you have any questions, please send me an email. If you think that you should have received an invite and you haven't, if you purchase between those dates. Just a reminder that we are starting to load dates for the 2022-2023 school year onto the PAC calendar. It's a very useful tool. If you haven't used the PAC calendar yet, please venture over there and take a look around. Also, our regional reps will be looking for picnic dates, and those will be posted to our calendar here shortly too. So if you'll go to the next slide. That might be it for me. Yeah, that's it for me. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a chat or send me an email. It's treasure@imsapac.org. Have a good morning, everybody.
So just wanted to open it up in case anybody does have any questions for Jen right now. Okay. So next we have our academic committee for their updates. Moju and Gabriella.
Hi, good morning. This is Moju Faturechi, and I'll walk you through our couple of slides. And my co-chair is also Gabriela Lima, and she's also on the call in case people have questions. We're both here for answering. We're both parents of seniors, and we're looking still for volunteers to take this committee over for the following year. So if you think about volunteering or spending, it's not very demanding, but it would be nice for us to be able to tell you what we do before we leave before next year. So please step up and reach out to us if you want to have a hand in this committee for the next year. On the next slide, I had put some information together about academic support, just to let you know that the peer tutors training took place last week, and they were asked to use 2 online platforms so that they could do the collaboration and access for students among other halls besides just the hall that they're in. Of course, they could be helping the students in person in their hall, in their own halls, with following the healthy safety guidelines. There will be posters in the hall to identify the tutors a little bit better. And just so that you know, the peer tutor officially started on the 24th of January, a week or so ago. What's new this year for the I-Day review sessions, there's a BC Calc 3 review session from 2 to 3 on in the afternoon on I-Days. Also, Dr. Glazier has made himself available for any math support from 4 to 5. So students have more resources to go to. The review session schedules are updated in the Academic Support Hub on Canvas, so the students know where to get that information. In addition to all of that, they also have Miss Christine Lose, I'm sorry for mispronouncing it. She is a math instructional program aide, and she can support the students for MI2, 3, 4, up to AB Calc. And the best way to get her help would be to schedule one-on-one with her. And the best way to do that is to send her an email. She's a hidden treasure that not everybody knew about her before, but I'm glad that they're speaking about it and let students know that there's yet another resource for them to go to. On the next slide, I wanted to also remind the parents that for any students that need to do remote learning for any reason, not just for COVID, for any health reason or any other reason that they need to be doing remote learning, their first line of contact, or your first line of contact, should be the nurse's office, because the nurse has to approve their learning before they could even get access to the Zoom link and all of that. So the process that's been put in place is for the parents to get in touch with the nurse's office right away. And once the nurse approves the student's learning remotely, they will let the principal's office know, and the principal's office then will communicate with the teachers for their setup and access and all of that. And then teachers will work with the students and provide them the link and the information that they need. So they wanted to say that the Zoom links are personalized, they're tracked. So if at all possible, do not share the links, but go through the process. The process could take some time to 48 hours, but obviously everybody tries to do the best they can so the students could get their access as soon as possible, but it will be a little bit of a lag because they have to just to go through the process to make sure that the students have everything they need to have access to. And the last slide I have, I think it's about SIR, and please do go to the SIR session today and get the information that you need and ask your questions. We have asked the SIR team, along with Dr. Akwaji Anderson, to set up another informational session so that parents or students could come and ask any questions they would like to have, because it was clear through the survey that we collected that there's a lot of lack of information among the parents about SIR, and it's such a great program. Everybody talks highly about it. Everybody's wants to support it, but it would be nice to have more information about it so that everybody could participate even more in this wonderful program. That's all I have. Enjoy your sessions today.
Thank you very much, Moju and Gabriella. So does anybody have any questions for the academic committee? So as they mentioned, feel free to reach out to them if you do have any questions afterwards. And as Moju mentioned, please join us on March 12th. Immediately after our general PAC meeting, we will have the speaker session with the SIR teachers and Dr. Akwaji Anderson. So thank you again. And next we have the Student Life Committee, Ellen and Susan.
Hi, everybody. This is Susan. Good morning. Ellen and I are really excited to look into the spring semester and get going with some events. If you change slides for me. I just wanted to share a couple of the events we had in fall semester. Our Wing Parents Rock. We did things like gift bags, popcorn movie nights, hot chocolate bars, pumpkin carving, caramel apples, cookie study breaks, pizza parties, ice cream treats, and so many more things. Huge shout out to the RCs. We couldn't have done it without them. They are a great asset to all the kids and parents at IMSA. If you could change slides for me. We have some upcoming events for spring. In February, we're going to celebrate Valentine's Day with things like chocolate covered strawberries, individual small boxes of candy, individual cakes or sweets. I've heard of some chips and salsa possibly being delivered. So we're going to make sure that the kids have a great time celebrating Valentine's Day on campus. In March, we have Pie Day coming up. The Wing Parent Program is going to facilitate individual pies being delivered to every student at IMSA. So we're still working on the logistics and planning that out. If you could change slides for me. In April, we're planning a teen Easter egg hunt. This should be a great event because Wing parents will be able to hopefully be outside at campus as long as the weather holds out for us in April. We're planning things like Easter egg hunts with candy, small trinkets inside, or tickets that can be redeemed at a prize table. We've also talked about nighttime Easter egg hunts with glow-in-the-dark eggs or eggs filled with glow sticks so they can do a pre-check-in at night Easter egg hunt. If you can change slides for me. If you're interested in helping out with student life, and even if you haven't been a Wing parent before, but would like to help out with one of the events that you just saw on the last couple slides, you can reach out to us at studentlife@imsapac.org. Ellen and I will put you in touch with the Wing parents currently in the hall and wing that you're in. You can always join our Wing parent Facebook page at 2021-2022 IMSA Wing Parents. As always, if you wanted to understand IMSA lingo, there's a link right there so you can kind of understand what your kids are talking about a bit more. That's all for student life.
Thank you so much, Susan. Does anybody have any questions for the Student Life Committee? Well, thank you again to all the parents who are supporting the wings during all this time. So thank you. Okay, next we have updates from the Friday Fest Committee. We've got Carrie and Melissa.
Good morning. Since we just had an update from Melissa at the January Friday Fest meeting, on the January Friday Fest at our PAC meeting a couple weeks ago, I wanted to highlight something a little bit different today. Next slide, please. Due to COVID, there's been a lot of changes to Friday Fest this year, and I wanted to point out one of the really cool things that happened as a result of the COVID restrictions. Friday Fest has had the opportunity to ask student volunteers to step forward and run our events. And as a result of that, Friday Fest has been able to offer IMSA students a total of 294 service hours so far this year. And of course, as expected, the IMSA volunteers have been nothing short of amazing. Next slide, please. And Friday Fest has 2 more events for the school year. We'll have one more Friday Fest on Friday, March 11th. And then on May 25th, which is a Wednesday during, it's the Wednesday before finals, we're going to have luau. We have a planning meeting coming up on Tuesday, February 15th at 7 o'clock, and everyone is more than welcome to join. Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for those updates, and thank you again to the Friday Fest Committee for all of you've been doing for organizing the Friday Fest. So next I'd like to call on Dr. Glazer if he's on the call already. Dr. Glazer, are you on? Okay. Well, while we wait for him to join us, did I hear from someone? Okay. While we wait for him to join us, I'm just going to go through some of the other things from us. You probably heard from the January meeting about the PAC. Everybody is a member of the PAC. If you have a student at IMSA, you're automatically a member of PAC. So we do encourage parents. Again, there's still opportunities for you to get involved in the PAC. But also, as Jen mentioned, a good resource is the PAC website. So if you haven't checked it out, feel free to do so. Besides having things like the recordings from these meetings, we also have the calendar, which Jen had mentioned. So if you scroll down midway on the homepage, she's been doing a great job of adding the events as they come up. Different things to the calendars, so not just PAC related, but also IMSA related, as she mentioned, since the calendar was approved for the upcoming year, those dates are being added as well. And you do have the capability to add whichever events you wanted to, so you don't have to feel like you have to add everything that's on the calendar, but you definitely can customize it to your needs. So if you're involved in different committees or want to know what's going on in different committees, if you just expanded the section for each committee, the calendar related to that committee will also be populated there. And another neat thing that we have on there is under IMSA communications. We have put the emails that have been coming out from IMSA that go out to the parents distribution lists on there, because we had heard the feedback from parents that, you know, with the different emails that come out from different areas of IMSA, sometimes it's hard for you to navigate all of the emails that are coming out in your own email inbox. So we decided to put that there to make it a little bit easier for you to reference it whenever you're looking for a particular email. And we do have it grouped out by general emails, and then by different grade levels, and then also by different halls. So if there's any hall specific emails that are going out, again, to the general parents distribution list, we are putting it on there as well. Okay, and as I mentioned, the meeting recordings are also on the website, and this one will be added once we have it available for you. One thing that we did start with last month's meeting was adding chapters to the meetings to make it easier for you to navigate the meetings if you wanted to just go on to a separate section, or if you weren't able to attend the meeting and are listening to the recording, you can jump to different sections if you're watching it, you know, over a span of time. And then also, as Jen had mentioned, during Giving Tuesday, we wanted to thank the donors that did decide to donate to the PAC fund. So the donations go through the IMSA fund, and in order for it to be earmarked for IMSA PAC, you do need to follow these steps specifically that are on the website, because as stated here, if you do not designate that it's for the IMSA PAC, it will be just donated to the IMSA fund's unrestricted fund, and they do have, you know, hundreds of different things that they all donate to. So that's how that will be divvied up. But you do also have the ability to donate to a specific committee if you wanted to, or a specific thing, but you have to put it here under designated gift purpose also, and also still include IMSA. There's some feedback. So, and also we do ask that you email info@imsapac.org after making a donation to let us know, so that we can also follow up and make sure that those funds are then sent to us once it's received by the IMSA fund. So does anybody have any questions for anything that I've covered so far? Okay. And then our upcoming meeting dates are March 12th, April 23rd, and that will be after College Day. So we're waiting to find out what time those sessions are, and then so we'll keep you posted on what time the April meeting will be. And then our final meeting of the year will be on Saturday, May 21st, and that's also when the new incoming officers for next year will be announced as well. Okay, again, visit our website for the upcoming events and Board of Trustees information. Here are some helpful links to direct you to that. The next meeting is in March, and let's see, it is usually, I think, the third Wednesday in March. I got for you, it is on March 16th. Okay, and then also, we have transitioned over to all @imsapac.org emails for all of our executive board and committee chairs. So if you still are using the prior ones, please utilize the new ones, because that's what we are checking. And again, you can get those email addresses on our website, or if you're unsure who to contact, you can always email us at info@imsapac.org. And we do have multiple people that are checking that email, and will reply to you and make sure that you get your requests, questions, concerns, that it gets to the right place. Okay. So do we have any questions that are PAC related right now, for any of the PAC updates? Right, let me see. Is Dr. Glazer on yet? Okay. So Dr. Glazer is going to be joining us and giving some updates. So I don't know if he's hopped on the call yet. Let me double check. Okay, so this is the beauty of having the meeting 2 weeks after our last meeting, is that we don't have as many updates. So therefore our meeting is a little bit shorter. But if everyone can just hang on real quick, let me see if I can find out when he's hopping on the call. So if you all would like to converse in the chat for a minute while I double check. Okay, so in the meantime, while we are waiting, I did want to open it up to find out if there are any questions or feedback you have for us on the PAC, things that you might want to see more of, or any suggestions you might have. Feel free to unmute yourself as well. Okay, we have a quiet group today. So we do have a question about the next meeting, if it's in person. So as of right now, we are hoping to still have the meeting hybrid. So as we all know, depending on how things are closer to the meeting, we may have to switch it to remote, but our hopes is that we will continue to be able to have the meetings hybrid. So definitely, for those who weren't able to join us for a hybrid meeting before break, we encourage you, if you're able to make it out to the meetings, because it's a great way to get to see other parents and also get to see the meeting as we are conducting it. But yes, and for those hybrid meetings, those do take place in the Into space. So for those of you who have not been in the Into space before at IMSA, when you come in by the security desk, it's actually to the left of that, and you just kind of go down the ramp a little bit, and it's on your left-hand side. So thank you for that question, Quincy. And also, we do like to say, encourage you to come, because we do have refreshments during the meeting as well. So.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question or maybe a suggestion.
Yes.
I have a junior right now. So, but for future students coming in for the next 3 years, or maybe even next year, I have two in college that they have this fundraising. I don't know if it's a fundraising, but they do send parent email if parent want to send their student a care package. like a care package beginning of the school year to welcome them during the final or during the holiday during the holiday, the upcoming holiday, Valentine's Day. So I purchased a care package for the whole school year for my two college students. Is that something that if someone will be interested in? I don't know if it's supposed to be from a club or a PAC meeting that they could start something like that to parents can just sign up, order them one time, and then it would get to be distributed to whoever student that the parent chose to go to. And that could
What?
also become like fundraising thing.
You know, definitely, if you could email, would you mind emailing what that looked like for your kids' other schools to info@imsapac.org, just so we could see what it looked like? That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Okay.
And then we can look into whether or not that's a great fundraiser for PAC, or if that's something, you know, one of the student clubs would like to do.
Okay. It will be maybe a link from the college that my daughter goes to because I ordered through that link. One is in Kalamazoo, another one is in Missouri. So yeah, I could email those colleges link that I use to order them a care package.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
And
I can
then
look for that.
what types of things do they have in those care packages?
They have Mizzou University. They have like the university T-shirt. They have in there. They have candies. They have chips. They have a lot of things about the school, or maybe pencil, and they had with the mask. So they have a lot different things. And same with Western Michigan. They also same thing. They have chips. They have candies. They have popcorn, something, those kind of snack things, and again the school T-shirt, and they have in those a care package. And each I know Western Michigan had like a 5 care package for 2 semesters, you know, and Mizu had only the 4. About 4 for just for the 4 each month. They send them something, and there will be notes if you want to do a personal note to your student.
Oh, those sound like fun care packages.
Yeah, it is because my 2 other older ones, they love it and they look forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, definitely. Would you mind if you could email us info@imsapac.org? We'd definitely like to look into that.
Okay, I found a link and do that.
Thank you. And for those that are helping to moderate the chat, are there any questions on here that from parents that you'd like to share?
I think there is one, and Susan might be able to answer about wing events. It says, there any update from the RCs? There is a consistency when people try to figure out to plan dinners or something at the wings. Parents are asking for any tips or help. We appreciate it.
From student life, parents aren't allowed in the wing still due to COVID guidelines. And they do ask that every meal or item brought into the wing is individually packaged. But RCs really are the best line of defense. So I think reaching out to your RC before you plan an event or order a dinner or anything like that for your wing is the best. I'm not sure about inconsistencies. I haven't heard of any, but absolutely, if you have any concerns, you can email studentlife@imsapac.org and we'll see who we can contact about it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? And then actually, I do have a question to present to all of you. So we do have meetings that are going on with parents of sophomores and parents of juniors, and just wanted to check in with parents of seniors if that's something that you feel you'd like us to add as well. So currently the parents of sophomores and juniors are meeting in separate groups every other week. So if that's something that parents of seniors feel like they want to do, we can possibly add that as well. Or if everybody's like, this is the home stretch and we're good, that's fine too.
The parent of a junior, and I was unaware that junior parents were meeting. Can I get some information about that?
Yes, definitely. It's actually on our calendar. So if you go on the PAC website and let me see, or if somebody could put the PAC website on there, if it's not in the chat already. Oh, somebody did already. Thanks, Charlie. So if you go to the PAC website, it's on the calendar. And I don't have it handy in front of me when the next meeting date is, but it is every other week. And so the Zoom link will be on those calendar invites as well. So I just added the website to the chat.
I'm looking at the calendar and all I see are the PAC meetings. I don't see, and maybe I don't have it selected right, but I can't find it.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Give me 1 second. Oh, let's see. Do you have it on the month view? Okay, here, hold on. Let me share the screen with.
Is it possible for you to provide a link directly to that calendar in the chat?
Sure. So
Thank
can you
you.
all see my screen right now with the calendar?
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, like over here, the junior parents meeting. So there is one on the 10th at 7 p.m. So if you, and actually Jen, would you mind putting a link to that calendar that this would be on in the chat? So if everybody can see that, when you're on the home page and you scroll midway, this is the calendar that's available. So you'll see that there are different colors on the calendar, and that kind of represents different calendars that are on there. So the yellow or the gold ones are more of the general events and different things like that from IMSA. And then also, as you can see, some of the holidays are on there as well. And then if you go into the different committees, so for instance, say Friday Fest, midpoint here, you will see the calendar for each of the committees. And then so if you wanted to subscribe or add just those activities, you can, or those calendar events, you can. But if definitely you wanted to see more of everything that's going on, and you can change the view to week, month, or agenda, which is the list view on here.
As long as we're talking about calendar events and the committees, academic committee also has once a month meeting on this calendar. Our next one is in March. Because we meet with Dr. Akwaji Anderson on a monthly basis, we host these meetings so that people could bring their concerns up to us if they want us to convey that to the administration. Saying that doesn't mean we're stopping you from going directly to the administration, but if we hear more of a general concern, that's something that we could move forward and discuss with Dr. Akwaji Anderson about it. But we also have our events on this calendar as well. So feel free. This is for all students, not a grade specific.
Thank you, Moju. And as you can see, the academic committee meeting is March 2nd at 7 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I have a question about I have a question about the food service. There was a lot of complaints about the food service, and my son has said it's dropped in quality significantly, and he's vegetarian, and there's really limited options that were options last semester that aren't options now. He continues to ask about it, but is not getting any response.
Okay. We don't have a representative from our student affairs, for IMSA student affairs on the call today, but definitely if you wanted to email, well, there is a form, and I don't know if you know about that form on the website.
I have filled out that form. Yeah.
Okay, so if you
No
want to, okay, if you want to email Katie Berger, and I'll put her email address in the chat, and she's a good contact for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maria, I wanted to let you know that Dr. Glazer's on the call.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Appreciate it. Welcome, Dr. Glazer.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to join you here a little bit. Maria had asked if I could kind of step in and talk a little bit about our COVID mitigations and COVID guidelines on campus right now. I overheard the conversation about food. I will tell you, in every institution that I've ever been into, parents have always asked about food because they get their input from their child. And most of us, for those of you who have multiple children, probably realize or recognize that kids can have different taste buds for different types of food. So one kid could love whatever you cook at home, and another kid may not enjoy it. And I would say that's the same. That's true in a school experience with food. So I like the food that we have on campus. I will acknowledge that there's always ways in which we can make it better. And I try to give our food team feedback as well on what kids like, what I like, and encouraging them to make more of the things that we like. So if you feel like we're not responsive to the form, I do think Katie's a great contact for that. But I would say, in my observation in food service experience in a variety of schools, that our vending is much better than what you'd find at a local high school, much better. But it's not like the quality you would get if you were at home cooking or on a cruise ship or something like that. So the kids have an opportunity to get a good dose of a wide variety of foods. And we, of course, will want to make that better through feedback. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some COVID updates because, I've been getting a lot of questions since the start of the month after I issued that note. And I put out another note that I hope answered some of the questions, but Maria was kind enough to provide me some more. So, just to give you a quick overview, we are experiencing a pretty challenging time over these last 3 weeks. We've had approximately 25 COVID cases since the return from break. It doesn't include those people who got COVID over the break or who are out and didn't come to campus because they weren't ready. These are people that we've actually have tested positive since the return to school. A lot of them initially, but we're seeing another uptick recently this last week. If I look back at our approaches, and if I knew we would have had this kind of impact coming back to campus, I probably, in retrospect, wish I had enacted kind of a test to return approach earlier. So two primary links to COVID that we've noticed are associated with outside activities and, of course, human error when masks are down, sometimes people don't realize that. It's mostly observable from RCs in the evening. And, that kind of makes sense because during the daytime, you have a lot of adults in the building, a lot of students in the building where we all have eyes on each other, where we can give each other reminders. However, in the evening or in locker rooms or in other situations, when you don't have people issuing reminders or can observe that, there could be lapses in mask wearing. That's true in my household as well. I had one kid. I have a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old. The 3-year-old caught COVID in January, and we were all diligent about wearing masks in our household and to do everything. And I have one kid who I'm constantly reminding to pull up her mask, the 5-year-old. The 5-year-old is vaccinated, and she still caught COVID. So it is a highly transmissible time, and it's frustrating to no end for many of us. So we do think that our greatest risks are associated with overnight stays off campus. Those aren't the only risks. There are other risks that can happen. And so we acknowledge that this is an imperfect approach, but we're trying to really manage minimizing that risk as much as possible. Omicron has influenced the change in guidance from the CDC for direct contacts. So before, you could have been vaccinated and without symptoms as a direct contact, and you'd have no problem. And we'd say you can carry on. And if you have any symptoms, then we'll test you and so forth. Now it's changed. Now, if you're booster eligible, you have to have the booster and no symptoms. If you are booster eligible and you have no symptoms, now you actually have to quarantine. If you're not boosted, you have to quarantine for 10 days. Now, in other places, it's 5 days if you're just interacting the day, but because our students are sharing a room with another student, the health department tells us it's 10 days. We know that people don't enjoy wanting to be quarantined for 10 days and engaged in remote learning. I will say that any of the kids who are out this weekend, if there's someone who at home is a close contact, you automatically become a close contact by being at home. And if someone has tested positive, they shouldn't return to campus unless they're boosted and don't have symptoms. My hope is that all this will settle down after the extended weekend. Honestly, my hope was this would have all settled down after the vaccine was originally available. And our biggest surprise, when I say our, not just IMSA, school officials in general, are that these variants are really creating havoc on our abilities to run school the way we want to. So trends in epidemiology is that you have less likelihood of a virus spreading when the weather gets warmer because people naturally spend more time outdoors. So there's been a variety of questions that Maria sent in advance to me, and I really appreciate that. Certainly, if any of you want to engage in these questions more offline at another time, just shoot me a note and we can have a conversation. Because I recognize that through the questions that some of you may disagree with some of our decisions, and we're asking you to commit to them in the interest of health and safety to our community. So I don't mind when there's healthy disagreement and we can have a conversation about it. So you're welcome to please touch base with me. Just shoot me a note. So I'll just fly through these questions that were posed because I have about it seems like 10 of them. So some parents are asking if the overnight. Some parents are asking about what protocols will be for students after returning from the extended weekend. So right now we're going to test everyone before classes begin. So parents don't need to go through any testing at home. We will do the testing. We'll do a delayed start like we did before. And if anyone tests positive after the extended weekend, we'll send them home before classes begin. Some parents are asking if the overnight stay will still be in place after the extended weekend. Honestly, I hope the next variant is not contagious. I don't enjoy putting in all these controls, and I'm just trying to preserve as much in-person learning as possible when we have the most students who are out. So we hope really that we will gradually peel off some of our mitigation layers. Some parents are wondering why there are different protocols for day trips versus overnight trips, and I shared I don't think we have a perfect solution. It's what we perceive as the best solution out of the options. There's just less risk involved. We think that we observe that kids are less. There's less human error during the daytime because there's a lot more eyes on the kids. Certainly, it's possible for someone to have a daytime activity and engage in human error. We acknowledge that. Some parents want to know why students are still allowed to go off campus to meets, events, and SAR, and I will say that it's really because there's less risk involved in a daytime activity. Some parents are asking why students have to test each time they return to campus from an overnight stay, but not staff and faculty. And I mean, it's a similar answer. So faculty are not taking their masks off at any time, and a lot of eyes are on them as well. So if they have human error, which they can, I mean, we have human error. It's just less risk involved in their context. In my own secret dream world, I wish everyone could live on campus, and we had the facilities to do so, and then we would all follow similar guidelines. Some parents are concerned about the difficulty in finding test sites with not with available appointments and about the non-legitimate testing sites. So yeah, I heard that. So we did some due diligence and sent out a list of a wide variety of sites, and I hope that is helpful. Some parents want to know why the over-the-counter tests are not acceptable. We're really looking for a record for the clinic for a couple of reasons. Certainly, if it's positive, we want to be able to report that to the Department of Health. And then also with the positive record, it allows us to adjust our own testing protocols for those individual students. If you want to know more about that aspect, please talk with me offline. But if you test positive, if a student tests positive, our protocols of how we engage that student will be different, but we need an official record. And also, we don't want our RCs in the line of evaluating your own health record. So that's why when students returning to campus, the RC is just going to say, have you gone through a test, and did it receive negative results? We will trust the student in the response, but the actual official record will be needs to be evaluated by the nurse. Some parents are wondering if the new policy follows the science of what's happening currently. I would offer that it is a matter of science and sociology. It's not just the science. Because we're involving human interaction in a residential environment. One parent submitted an article that, tried to look at some research surrounding the use of different protocols. When we evaluated that article, we believe there were different variables that were introduced in that or evaluated in that article than what we, in the context of our environment. I'm more than happy to engage in a deeper conversation surrounding that. We recognize that the approaches that we're using are in attempts to deter cases from campus. If our approach detects one case, that's sufficient for us to keep more kids in person and learning. Because it's noted that the viral load takes time to accumulate on a rapid test. So I acknowledge that is what the science informs us. We have learned through our experience on campus that we pick up cases on the rapid test, and so just one case is enough to prevent the spread, because my worry is, if one positive case enters campus and introduces more direct contacts, and those direct contacts aren't boosted, then all of a sudden we're starting to send home a whole ship of students, which we don't want. So I recognize this is not a perfect solution, and we do have some redundancy built in. So all students will be tested by Shield later in the week. And I would anticipate then, we will pick up some more cases. So our interest is to pick up the cases as quickly as possible. This is hard work. It's hard work for everyone. I realize that there's an impact on families. Families want to see their kids. You want to spend time with them. We want our campus healthy. And there's a natural tension between those, right? There's a tension between physical health and social emotional health. And we're trying to minimize risk and also provide some allowances to allow parent engagement to happen with their kids. I really desire that our campus is healthy. So as a lot of you have shared, it's a factor associated with being vaccinated or not. And it's not. I mean, we have cases of kids who are and adults who are boosted, who are catching COVID. So my hope is that we will be out of the woods in a couple of weeks. I regret I don't have time for a conversation because we have to transition to a parent day, but I do, please send me a note. You want to have another conversation, extend the conversation. If there are things that I'm not considering or things that you feel like I need to hear a different perspective, please reach out. But thank you. That addressed the list of questions. And Maria, I'm sorry, I do have to jump because we have a parent meeting starting, and I'm kicking it off.
No, that's totally fine. And Dr. Glazer, we do appreciate you taking the time to answer the questions that have been presented to us. And there are a lot more in the chat. As Dr. Glazer had mentioned, it is 9 o'clock, so it is their time to kick off the welcome. So feel free to, Dr. Glazer, what is the best way for them to convey
Yeah, just go ahead and put my
those?
email in the chat, to eglazer@imsa.edu or president@imsa.edu, and we can engage further. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy your parent day.
Okay, thank you. And then this is the same link as the welcome, so feel free to go ahead and do that. And thank you so much for attending our meeting today.